Every generation of Pokemon brings with it 3 amazing new starters that everyone's going to fight over who their favorite is. In this generation, for Laurel and I both, we loved Sobble. She actually picked Scorbunny just to let me take Sobble, which was pretty generous. Today, we're going to evolve our Shiny Sobble. To evolve our Shiny Sobble, first, we're going to give it some XP. I'm a big fan of using these XP Candy XLs. You get them from doing the 5-star raids. I'm a big fan of doing the ones that are gold because then you get 3 extra large candies when you're done. That's always handy. Yeah, that's why whenever we see the 5 stars, I jump at them, and if it's not a 5-star, I ignore it because
it's handy to know.
It is. How many do we want to give it? Let's give it 5. Your Pokemon gain experience, and it's going to jump from that from 0 to 53.
Holy. Yeah, it's going to level up. I'm going to evolve at least once.
But it wants me to learn a bunch of moves first.
Yeah.
Let's snap past this. And here we are. She's depressed. Our baby Sobble is evolving.
We'll see.
Yeah? You'll give him a chance? Even if it is in his awkward teenage stage?
We'll see.
It's pretty awkward. He's got that emo hair.
That's awesome.
That's cool. So here's our shiny Drizzile.
Okay, but like the purple emo hair just actually works better than the regular version.
Let's see here. What do we got? Super pink hands.
Yeah, and the eyeshadow to match the hands.
To match the hands.
Oh, see, this is elegant.
Superstar. Your Drizzile evolved into Inteleon. Shiny Inteleon.
Yeah, that is.
You dig it? It works for you?
Spin it. I want to see it.
I don't think you can't spin them in this.
Less.
Forget an old move to gain Snipe Shot. We don't need Growl.
Nobody needs a Growl.
1, 2, and...
Like, that's the Ruby Rose of the Pokemon world.
Alright, so I got this Inteleon, this Shiny Sobble, from a friend, and it's a really cool Pokemon. I'm super excited to have him, but unfortunately, as the case is with a lot of Shinies, the IVs are terrible. So what can you do? He's got a completely passive nature. What are you gonna do about that? You really miss out on not having the stats that you want by not having the nature that you want. This one is a special attacker, so you want to make sure that we pick either a speed nature or a special attack nature, always at the expense of attack, because we don't really care what his attack stat is. But what we're going to do is we're going to come to the battle tower. I'll show you guys where this is on the map. This is where, in Winden, at the very, very back, the battle tower. You're going to walk up to this guy that does the hyper training. Now, we haven't leveled that Inteleon up to level 100 yet, but let's say that we did, we'd go here and it would show us a Pokemon that is level 100 that we can do the hyper training on. And then you'd use 1 bottle cap per stat, or you'd use that golden bottle cap to do all of the stats. And then as far as the nature goes, oh boy. Could this be the one? We have hatched 2 nights worth of Delmise on stream, and there's quite a few. No, of course not. Because God forbid, while recording for YouTube, we'd get a shiny to hatch. So I'd walk over, go to the young lady at the very end of the counter, to her BP shop. If you want something that at the expense of special attack but favors attack, you'd pick that Adamant Mint. If you needed something that favors special attack at the expense of attack, you'd grab the Modest Mint. You will get a few just from playing the game, just from doing the battle tower. Have you used a mint yet?
I haven't gotten any mints yet.
Okay, well, so now you can see how that works. You just use 1 mint, and it resets all of the stats as if it had always been that way. and the nature had always been that way. You can use it at level 1, you can use it at level 100. It retroactively resets all the stats.
Does it actually change the named nature?
No. It resets the stats, but the named nature stays the same. Just like when you use hyper training, you cannot breed those IVs down to a child because your real IVs are whatever they're listed, whatever they originally were. So if it's hyper trained, you cannot pass down a perfect hyper trained IV. It'll pass down whatever it was previously. What's a really good question. But so 50 BP is a pretty high price point to buy these mints, so you use them sparingly. I recommend them on legendaries. I recommend them on shinies, things like this Sobble that I'd love to be able to use him. He's shiny, he's neat, but
he's gorgeous.
But what are we gonna do about his garbage stats? So that's the process. We get in there, we do the mint, we get in there, we do the hyper training, and suddenly that shiny is not as bad as we were afraid that he was.
What does it take to get battle points?
Battle points are pretty straightforward. You go here and talk to this woman at the battle tower. She will take you in and say, would you like to battle? Please select the battle format. I don't have a team built right now because we've been hatching eggs, but
right.
You can see I'm at 44 victories. I kind of gave up after I hit the Master Ball tier because it like...
Is there like a set number of points per victory, or?
And that was part of the problem, is that you got big rewards every time you rank up to a new tier, but then once you hit the Master Ball tier, the rewards kind of went flat. So I think their hope is that you do enough Battle Tower, and then they want you to go play competitively. This Dragapult has already been fully EV trained, and then I've got a Dragapult next to it that has not been EV trained, it's just completely random stats. And so if we turn off that EV viewer, this one's level 67, that one's level 66, they're essentially the same, but attack of 250 versus attack of 201. So having the correct nature, having the right EVs, that attack stat difference is absolutely huge.
What do the sparklies mean?
The sparklies mean that your EVs are fully maxed out in that stat. So you can only max out 2 EVs. And so if we go back to this one, you can see that nothing is sparkly because his EVs, this was the Dragapult that I played the game with, so his EVs are all over the place. But then this one, he was EV trained by hand. You can see he's got a little bit of points in defense. His little line came out a little bit, but the rest is in, the majority in attack and speed because he's a physical attacker. So I powered up attack. How to know that really quickly is to look at his moves. Under there where it says category, if it's got that POW with the jagged, that's physical attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me find something else to look at. Eternatus is a good example. So if it's got that category, then that uses the special attack. And so for our Dragapult with all the correct IVs, we want to make sure that all of his moves are going to be of the correct type, because otherwise you're using a stat that doesn't have the nature, doesn't have... And there are some examples of Tyranitar that'll have special attacks because people aren't expecting it. And so you don't necessarily want to completely sacrifice your... so they'll take it in the hit point stat because his hit points are naturally pretty good. They'll take the hit somewhere else so that he can still do a special attack if he needs to, even though Tyranitar is primarily a physical attacker. But you get the idea. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, do hit that like and subscribe button. This is actually Laurel's very first time in a YouTube video, so congratulations on popping your YouTube cherry.
Oh, Lord.
We stream usually together Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you need Pokerus, if you need to trade, if you need starters, we've got all sorts of goodies because we're always breeding. She hasn't beat the game yet. She's working on it. We will see you guys next time.